What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another episode of T-Rod Outdoors. It's Tuesday. You know what that means. Another episode of Tackle Tuesday. So I've already covered all the bases on the soft plastics that I use. Now we're going to be diving into different hard baits and trailer style baits that I use. So today is going to be all about chatterbaits. So I've got my chatterbait box here, fresh out of the boat. And I'll show you, try to get you a close up without a glare. This thing is just loaded down with chatterbaits. Let's see, I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18 chatterbaits in here. Variety of colors and weights as well. But there is only two kinds of brands for chatterbaits in here. One of them is the go-to for so many anglers. It is going to be the, see if I can find one. Here we go. It is going to be the Z-Man original chatterbait. I have a couple jackhammers in here, but the original chatterbait is probably one of the most tried and true chatterbaits out on the market right now. This is definitely my favorite kind of chatterbait. I forget what they call it, but I like the upgraded ones that come with the Gamakatsu hooks. Just a little better sense of mind that the hook is a little higher quality than the original. Let's see, and then the other brand that I have in here is going to be the Guggen Squad brand. They call this a clickbait, and I have to say, of all the Guggen Squad products, this is my least favorite. For me, it just doesn't stay down in the water when I'm reeling it back in. It wants to come right back up to the surface, like 10 yards from where I casted it. It'll be up at the surface, and then I'll have to reel it in and make a new cast. And so there's a lot of videos on like how to tune your chatterbait and stuff, and I've tried this. I've tried it so many times that one of the blades on it, here it is, it's a black and blue one, is so bent out of shape and chipping because I was trying to bend it so many times to try to like tune it so that it would stay down and dive deeper, but I have no idea how to get this thing to stay down. Again, maybe I'm not giving it enough effort out there and putting in the work. Maybe I would actually like it if I knew the right trick how to use it, but for just a cast and retrieve, I'm not going to be using the clickbait. But where I am going to be using the clickbait is when I'm pitching and flipping a bladed jig. So I'll pitch it in, lift my rod so it vibrates, then let it fall. And I feel like the Guggen Squad clickbait excels at that tactic because of these beads that they have on here. Let's see if you can see without the glare. Yeah, you see the beads that they have on here. These will knock together in the water and make way more noise than just a regular bladed jig like the original from Z-Man. So I really like this one when I'm going to be pitching and flipping and just lifting my rod so it comes up and then letting it fall back down. Lifting my rod so it comes up and then falls back down. And then when I'm going to be doing a steady retrieve, like I'm looking for fish, I'll throw on a original Z-Man and just cast and retrieve it in. This tackle box that I have here is awesome for holding all of these. It was Plano's, it's an Elite Series Plano, but it was before all the Plano Edge had these hooks. Like the Plano Edge has a jig box similar to this. This is a Plano Elite box that is meant for spinnerbaits, but I had a problem getting all the spinnerbaits in here without bending all the wires, and so I didn't really have a use for it for so long. And then then Plano Edge came out with the Jig Series box, and I was like, wow, that tackle box that I used to have seems very similar. So then I tried it with my bladed jigs, and it works perfectly. I'm thinking about ordering another one for my regular jigs, or upgrading to a Plano Edge Series system for the boat, since those are waterproof. This one doesn't have the waterproof seal, so I have to take these in and out of the boat a lot when I'm worried about water getting in there for rust. But back to the video on Tackle Tuesday. Sorry, I went off on a little rant there. So yeah, those are the two style of chatterbaits that I use. My rod setup of what I use for this, for what I use for my bladed jigs, is going to be a 7-foot medium heavy with a fast taper tip. And it's just going to make that rod tip so much more sensitive. You'll be able to feel the vibrations and really feel when a fish is going to hit. Really feel when the fish hits, actually, and then you'll be able to set the hook. And you'll lose less fish when you have a sensitive rod tip, because you can feel everything that's going on down under the water while you're throwing whatever bait you are throwing. In this case, it's going to be a chatterbait on that particular rod. I think it's a Lose Speed Stick, like TP1. It's a white rod. And then for the reel, I throw a SLX-DC on it. It is the 151 HG, so it's high gear, which I think their high gear ratio is only 7:1 or 7:4. But that's really the sweet spot with pretty much all my reels. Are 7-speed reels. I do have one lose reel that is slower, and I'll fish like a square bill with that. And then I do have a lose reel that's faster that I have my frog set up on, because I like to be able to catch up to those fish. So we talked about the two types of chatterbaits that I use. Next, we're going to talk about the three different types of trailers that I use. So you have original boot-tailed swim baits that you can use. I'll pull one out that actually has a boot-tailed swim bait on it. So get the skirt out of the way. So it's just a regular saucy swimmer on there, boot-tailed swim bait, and it gives it a lot of action. But sometimes I like to change it up, so I'll throw something along the lines of a yappy trailer on. I don't have any yappy trailers on in here, but I do have the Zakos. It's kind of similar. So the Zako is just meant to imitate a bait fish, just like regular swim baits are, but this one kind of has the presentation of a fluke. Get the skirt out of the way so you can see it. Kind of has the presentation already of a bait fish. So I'll switch back and forth with, depending on like how I'm feeling, and I feel like ones with the Zako or the yappy trailer, they will run more true, like they'll run true, and then the boot-tailed trailers, from my experience, they kind of do their own thing, which is sometimes a good thing and sometimes a bad thing. Like sometimes they'll just dart left and right, depending on the blade of the chatterbait lets it guide them. But it definitely is more drag when you're throwing a boot-tailed style swim bait rather than a yappy trailer / Zako. And then the last version of trailer that I sometimes use is going to be like a crawl style. So right here I have the Kraken crawl. Sometimes I'll throw this on. I'm surprised I don't have one on here already. So when I'm throwing the click baits and I'm lifting it up and letting it fall, letting the blade do the work, and vibrating on the way back down, I will like to throw a crawl on when I'm flipping and pitching it there, rather than a bait fish imitation bait. But yeah, like I said, two different styles. I got the original and the Googan Squad clickbait version. So that's all. That's going to be all for Tackle Tuesday. Kept it short and sweet this week. Next week's going to be all about spinnerbaits, so make sure to stay tuned for that. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And thank you guys for watching. I'll catch you guys next time on T-Rod Outdoors.